everybody, this is Noelle from Petitti Garden Centers, and we're here at our Oakwood Village store. Thank you, Stella, for all of your wonderful displays. We are talking about perennials for July in our perennial calendar. So this is kind of a continuous series that we've talked about, and we want to kind of follow the months of bloom as we move through the perennial garden. And this is a prime example of what you're going to see in July in your garden. The I think what pops out really, really well for us are those beautiful golden yellow black-eyed Susans or Rudbeckia. And there's a few different here, but the one series that we have here is the Dakota series. And the Dakota series are very, very just sturdy black-eyed Susans, beautiful. This is Red Shield with that kind of darker, rusty burgundy color in the center. There's double Dakota down here, which is that double petaled flower there. But there's all different varieties here. And these are Rudbeckia hirta. So they're a great native plant, I should say native-are for Ohio. Wonderful in the full sun. And we are in the sun perennials right now. So we'll show you more sun varieties for that kind of 6 or more hours of sunlight there. And yeah, plenty to choose from. So you'll see the Rudbeckia really coming into flower in July, and of course they'll continue to bloom and grow and do wonderfully for us a little bit later too. It is paired with this beautiful lace leaf delphinium. These delphinium, there's 2 varieties here. One of them is really, really electric blue. It is really gorgeous. And sometimes it's even hard for a camera to pick up how beautiful the color is. This is called Summer Nights Delphinium, and there's a softer blue here too. I'm just gonna kind of put my hand by this one. The softer blue is called Summer Blues. It is really, really beautiful. I love the contrast between the cut leaf foliage on this delphinium and then how bold and thick and green the black-eyed Susans are. Really, really beautiful. And again, accompanied by, we have some dark coral bells down below. It's obsidian. We love that dark, dark leaf. But all 3 of them look really beautiful in July. July is for coneflowers. So this is your echinacea. These are all different nativars. And my goodness, the colors really come out and they look absolutely gorgeous at this time of year. So in July, and again, your coneflowers are going to be a wonderful blooming plant, add a lot of color and texture to a sunny perennial garden, of course. And they're such wonderful attractors of the pollinators too. In fact, I saw some monarchs kind of dancing over some coneflowers just the other day. So the variety that I have in front of me is the Artisan series. This is called Red Ombre. And again, what's so unique about the coneflowers nowadays is the colors are so saturated. They're just really, really rich. And with Red Ombre, Taylor will show you that they go through this color change where sometimes you look at them, they have kind of a pinky red tone to them, and then they'll sort of fade in color a little bit, but it'll be still a bright orange to a peach. It's just a really, really beautiful color. And then beyond this, you see the pink, the short pink is going to be Powwow Wild Berry. And then beyond that, there's another orange. And that one's a little bit different, but that's the Artisan series too. So I think that's Orange Ombre. No, Orange. I forget, but Taylor will remind me. And then down below, there's a mix. And that one's one of our favorites. That's Shy and Spirit. Sorry, I always say skies. I always think skies, but Shy and Spirit. And it just has multicolor, and it's sort of a surprise as what type of flower you're going to get or what color flower you're going to get. All really wonderful folks. Of course, these are natural bird feeders as well. So you'll see lots of finch come down and eat the seed once they mature. But this is prime time for your coneflower. So get your coneflowers now. We're by the milkweed, and this is actually this is common milkweed right here. So this is Asclepias. And this one's called Cinderella, this pink variety that you see here. But July is a great time. You'll see lots of plenty of varieties of the milkweed family producing at this time of year and blooming really, really nicely. And of course, we need this plant. We need it for a host for monarch butterflies, but we also need it for pollinators. All different types of pollinators do enjoy the nectar from these flowers. So it's always a good thing to grow your milkweed. Common milkweed, obviously tall, a little bit more cut leaf. Swamp milkweed has a little bit more of a long oval leaf to it. It's much broader, much longer, and tall as well. And then you have the little tiny tuberosa, Asclepias tuberosa, which is going to be like your butterfly weed. All of them are called milkweed, butterfly weed. So you'll find them. And again, excellent natives to Ohio. And again, the monarchs cannot live without them. So make sure that you're growing some milkweed in your yard. Agastache for July. And this is also known as false Aesop, but we really like this newer popular name, common name, hummingbird mint. Sorry. So hummingbird mint. A lot of folks are asking for hummingbird mint. It's the Agastache. It's a great plant. They are in the mint family. They are very, very fragrant, but they're wonderful bloomers, very long bloomers. You'll see different colors, different varieties out here. Queen Nectarine is right here, this beautiful apricot type. And we were just watching all of the bumblebees kind of go in. They try to stick their heads in the flowers and then they pull the flowers down. And I'm sure they're trying to get all the nectar out of that tubular flower. So it's always really fun to watch. We were just watching them for a few minutes. And then this is Royal Raspberry right here, this variety. And you're going to see height variations on some of the varieties too. So just be aware of that. And then in the background, those blues, we have Black Adder. We also have Blue Fortune, which I think the blues are just really great growers in the garden. In containers, they sort of stretch out a little bit and they don't look wonderful in growing containers, but in the garden, they are phenomenal. And I'll tell you, folks, if you have a deer issue, they're extremely deer resistant. So that might be something you want to check into. Good perennial for full sun in July. Upright garden phlox is phenomenal in July. You can tell all of the wonderful colors. It's extremely fragrant. It is a hummingbird fave. So plant your phlox out there. They do really well in full sun conditions, 2-part shade conditions. But I'm going to tell you, folks, the drier you keep them, it's always really, really good. Now, phlox for us, excellent cut flower, excellent fragrant flower, excellent hummingbird attractant. Watch out. You've got to protect them from deer. That's definitely one thing. And another thing you have to watch out for are the leaf spots or the downy mildews or powdery mildews. Okay. So again, drier places, separate them or spread them out, I should say, when you're planting them so they get good air circulation. And then you do want to start a little bit of a fungicide regime before the spots start. That's really, really important. So just remember that. And copper fungicide works very well for controlling that, but start it before it gets started. You'll see all the different colors. Purple and white bicolor is Laura back here. I've got a lot of the Flame series, like this is Flame Red, Flame White. Oh, I should say it's opposite. It's always the color first and then flame. So red flame, white flame, coral flame. I've got blue. Oh, nope. I don't have blue flame here, but Taylor will show you blue flame, purple flame, pink flame. There's all different types. The flame series are fairly compact in the garden, maybe 20, I'd say 20 inches or so. So nice. And they're also fairly good as far as disease resistance. Again, they do need a little bit of help, especially during humid seasons and things like that. Wet, humid seasons are not a garden phlox's friend, okay? But just be aware, there's so many beautiful varieties. Again, if you want a great hummingbird attractant, this is the one to go for in July. A flurry of other summer July bloomers, prime time. Look at that Crocosmia. This is Crocosmia lucifer is the variety name. Again, folks, this is a beautiful plant for your hummingbirds. They absolutely love that red color, that tubular flower. Really, really awesome. the Stokes Asters for a low color. Right now we have Blue Danube, Honey Song Purple, gorgeous. Of course, anytime you can plant an aster, that's always going to be great for your pollinators. Really, really wonderful. As we move up, we've got classic red Monarda. This is called Jacob Klein. It is one of the best reds out there. Really, really gorgeous. And again, hummingbirds absolutely love it. With your bee balm or Monarda, that is, again, a nativar of Ohio. So excellent to bring into the garden. The Liatris behind me, this is purple Liatris spicata. It is a wonderful plant, again, for the pollinators, for summertime. Really, really great in the garden, will hold up really nicely, and the butterflies are all over it. The bees are around it too. And then look at, we have the daisy family over here. This is Heliopsis or false sunflower. So these are good hardy perennials for us. The tall one is Burning Hearts with the bicolor. The shorter one is called De Anarancia, little orange right here. So beautiful plant. And then I also have Helenium, another daisy or composite type plant, and the Helenium come out. This one's called Mardi Gras. This is a great one. Really wonderful. And again, tons of color in the sun for July. Great perennials. I did want to mention really quick, honorable mention, because right now it looks like we are sold out, but the torch lily or Kniphofia, or what's another one? Red hot poker, that perennial plant, Taylor will show you, it is an awesome one for July. They really come out, look absolutely gorgeous, kind of have that grassy mound of foliage just start, and then the torch lilies come right out of it. Nice, bright, sunny, hot colors. So really wonderful. Of course, I say bright, sunny, hot, and the sun just all of a sudden comes out of the clouds here. So Taylor's trying to adjust, but I did want to mention that too. So she'll show you pictures of that. We moved down into shade, and shade for July is right the tail end of the Astilbe flowering season. So you have your late blooming Astilbe will kind of move through into July. Usually the Vision series will kind of carry us through and do very, very well. Dark Side of the Moon looks like a later bloomer as well. So it'll kind of carry you through the end of July in the shade garden now. But I wanted to show you the hosta, and look at the sun is just hitting these flowers perfectly. But hostas start blooming in July. August is a really good time for them too. But I wanted to show you some of the flowers. And believe me, hosta growers don't necessarily grow the hosta for their flowers, but some of them are really, really gorgeous, beautiful scapes. Some can really reach very tall heights in the garden. Some can be very short, and you kind of find them kind of stuck in the middle of the foliage. So it just kind of depends on your variety. Right here, this beautiful variegated variety that's blooming really, really nicely for us is called Miss America. She is a gorgeous hosta. And again, probably one of those hostas that doesn't really show you how pretty she is in the pot, but in the garden, gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Yellow, the yellow leaf type that I have right next door is called Echo the Sun. Really, really nice, shorter scapes. You can tell kind of a light lavender with both of these, just a touch, a tiny touch of lavender, but really beautiful trumpets. And then Hope Springs Eternal is starting too. And that's this beautiful variegated variety, smaller variety, sort of bluish green with yellow creamy margins, ruffled margins. So really pretty, but those flowers are starting to come up and really be showy. And of course, going through the shade garden in the summer, we have a lot of spring bloomers. We have some fall bloomers too, but just be aware it's the texture and the foliage color and those types of things that really help us in the shade garden. So be aware of your ferns and your grasses in the shade. All of those types of things help us get through kind of the middle of summer. And then we'll move into more color as we go towards the fall. Okay. So this was perennial calendar for July. We hope you saw a lot of beautiful flowering plants. And again, even this is their prime time. You might see them shoulder into August, or they might have already started blooming in the end of June here. But they'll really kind of take you through, give you a lot of color midsummer.